Hello, my friends. Once again, I'm Kevin Steele, and we have some big decisions coming up soon. Early voting is beginning in the next few days, and among the most important roles that we will have to decide in this election, that of Chief Justice of the Ninth Court of Appeals. A big race. One candidate for Chief Justice who has distinguished himself as a real leader in our area is worthy of your prayerful consideration. That man, Chuck Meyer, sitting with me right now. Great to see you again, Chuck. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's always great to see you, my friend. You swear to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Is that?
So help me God.
I think we accepted that you would say that. Let's start, in fact, with one immutable truth that folks need to know about. That is this immutable truth, that this man is a genius. I say that honestly. This is a genius, the kind of man with the mental acuity that we all wish that we have. A lot of people don't have it. Holding the Bachelor of Civil Law degree from Oxford University in England, really one of the most prestigious universities in the world, and one of the most prestigious degrees that you can hold, well above the other degrees held by some of your opponents.
I don't know that if I'm a full-fledged card-carrying genius, but I do use my intellectual capability hopefully for good, and I prefer to say I'm smarter than the average bear or maybe the average lawyer, but the good Lord did not make me an athlete. As much as my father tried when I was younger to coach me in all the sports, the best I could do was that when I was at the University of Virginia for my undergrad was to be on the club fencing team, and I thoroughly enjoyed that sport. But I have had the ability to use my mind to be very creative. I'm an inventor on U.S. patent as well as being a patent attorney. Mm-hmm. And I like using my mind because the good Lord gave it to me for a reason.
I'll take a genius in this role any day.
I thank you for the compliment, but I just prefer to be referred to as hardworking.
Member of the Texas Bar College. Only about 5% of our attorneys are able to be in the Texas Bar College. And this is important to me, the kind of genius that works with kids, youth services. Elaborate, tell us more about your service.
Yeah, our local Rotary Club has a project where we work with Yes to Youth, which is part of Montgomery County Youth Services. We go out, we play volleyball or football or other sports, play games with them, mm-hmm. and just get a sense of how they're doing and just be a friend.
You substitute teach, you're involved in many of these things?
I do. I try to carve out a little bit of time from my law practice to substitute teach, because I'm a little different than the other opponents. I was an engineer before I became a lawyer, and there's always a need for STEM teachers, and I'd like to go to the schools and teach math or a science class, but I also like to teach a drama class and a debate class every once in a while too.
Right, I saw that. Knights of Columbus as well, you're in that?
Yes, we of course, when you talk about Knights, you think of fish fries, but we do also a lot of charitable work, not only for our church, but for the whole community. Mm-hmm. We try to raise money through our fish fries and tamale sales in our council.
Okay.
So
Chuck's the kind of man also who has supported legislation that would actually obligate all members of Congress to the same laws that apply to the rest of us, just in case you're interested. And you've talked about even the elimination of pay for members of Congress if those members fail to come up with a common sense budget. These are extraordinary things when we start talking about D.C. I just like that idea. The concepts.
I think if you're going to be a servant to the people, and the Chief Justice position is a servant to the people position, just like our local congressmen and all the congressmen and congresswomen. And if you're going to serve the people, then you should be expected to live by the same laws that the people do. And if you can't balance a budget, then you shouldn't be paid.
What a concept!
Of course, that's not an issue for the Chief Justice to worry about.
Right.
But the Chief Justice does have to worry about keeping the budget in check.
Right.
For the judiciary branch that he is working with.
It shows where your heart is on these matters. To back up on the resume, you were the Chief Legal Officer for Research in Motion, the people behind BlackBerry. That had to be a heady experience.
Well, it was a great experience, but they also let me go over to the business side. I was the head of BlackBerry Europe. I was the face of BlackBerry Europe. I had to appear on television representing the company. And I also had to manage over 100 employees.
100 employees.
And it was a wonderful opportunity to grow in my leadership skills.
Yes, sir.
I was responsible for the organization that introduced 100,000 BlackBerries to Europe, and after I left, they probably introduced more than 1 million, but I went on from there to Oxford, where I got that degree you talked about earlier.
It's really important and relevant, I think, in the sense that these are questions that will come before that court, whether you can organize the court, motivate the employees, and lead this in the kind of, because people don't realize that there is a legislative mandate for the Ninth Court of Appeals to take all of the cases and hear all of the cases and rule.
Well, what most people don't realize is when you're talking about a right to an appeal, it doesn't appear in any constitution. It's part of a right to a fair trial.
Yeah.
How do we know that people are getting fair trials unless we give them an appeal? No court of appeal, the numbered courts of appeals in the state, can turn down an appeal. You want to take your case on the appellate level, the court has to hear it. And we have to hear it as efficiently as we possibly can. And I have some ideas as how we can make this court a little bit more efficient. We're blessed with a very good court. Chief Justice McKeithen has done an excellent job, but I think you can always improve upon excellence by making it even better.